Want to volunteer? Vedika is there. Vedika, can you recite?
Okay, sir.
Sampath, are you recording? Thank you. Okay, go ahead, Vedika. Vedika, you're on mute.
Yes, sir. 1 minute.
Okay.
ओम सच्चिदानंद रूपाय नमोस्तु परमात्मने ज्योतिर्मय स्वरूपाय विश्वमांगल्यमूर्तये प्रकृतिः पंचभूतानि ग्रहालोकास्वरास्तथा दिशः कालश्च सर्वेषां सदा कुर्वन्तु मङ्गलम् रत्नाकराधौतपदा हिमालयकिरीटिनीं ब्रह्मराजर्षिरत्नाढ्यां वन्दे भारतमातरम् महेन्द्रो मलयः सह्यो देवतात्मा हिमालयः ध्येयोरैवत गोविन्द्यो गिरिश्चारावलिस्तथा गङ्गा सरस्वती सिन्धु ब्रह्मपुत्रश्च गण्डकी कावेरी यमुना रेवा कृष्णा गोदा महानदी अयोध्या मथुरा माया काशी काञ्ची अवन्तिका वैशाली द्वारिका ध्येया पुरी तक्षशिला गया प्रयागः पाटलीपुत्रं विजयानगरं महत् इन्द्रप्रस्थं सोमनाथः तथा मृतसरप्रियं चतुर्वेदा पुराणानि सर्वोपनिषदस्तथा रामायणं भारतं च गीता सद्दर्शनानि च जैनागमास्त्रिपिटका गुरुग्रन्थस्सतां गिरः एष ज्ञाननिधिः श्रेष्ठः श्रद्धयोरिति सर्वदा अरुन्धत्यानसूया च सावित्री जानकी सती द्रौपदी कण्णगी गार्गी मीरा दुर्गावती तथा सङ्घशक्तिप्रणेतारो केशवो माधवस्तथा स्मरणीया सदैवैते नवचैतन्यदायकाः अनुक्ता ये भक्ता प्रभुचरणसंसक्तहृदयाः अनिर्दिष्टा वीराः अधिसमरमुध्वस्तरिपवः समाजोद्धार्तारः सुहितकरविज्ञाननिपुणाः नमस्तेभ्यो भूयात् सकलसुजनेभ्यः प्रतिदिनम्
इदमेकात्मता स्तोत्रं श्रद्धया यः सदा पठेत् स राष्ट्रधर्मनिष्ठावान् अखण्डं भारतं स्मरेत्. भारत माता की जय. Thank you, Vedika. Good recitation. Okay, so let us continue with our session on great personalities of Bharat. So in between we'll keep doing Avalokana. That is what it is good, so that we recollect what we have learned in few 2 weeks before. Okay, we'll just quickly go through them, go through those shlokas, and then we'll continue with today's session. Okay. So, Sachit, you are ready with your presentation on Dadichi?
Yes, sir. But sir, still have to do little, sir.
You want to take up today or next week?
Next week, sir.
Fine, Sachit. So Shraddha will present on Shukadeva Muni. I will tell you, Shraddha, once we complete the previous few recollections. I'm presenting my screen now. So this is the first sloka which mentions about Matru Devatas. Can anyone read?
Sir, I'll read, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
अरुन्धत्यन सूया च सावित्री जानकी सती द्रौपदी कण्णगे गार्गी मीरा दुर्गावती तथा.
अरुन्धत्यनसूया च सावित्री जानकी सती द्रौपदी कन्नगी गार्गी मीरा दुर्गावती तथा.
Okay, this next stotra is also about shloka is also about Mathur Devatas. Can anyone else read it? Sampada, can you read it?
लक्ष्मीरहल्या चन्नम्मा रुद्रमाम्बा सुविक्रमा निवेदिता शारदा च प्रणम्या मातृदेवताः.
So these two shlokas tell us about the Mathur Devatas, which are part of our great personalities of Bharat. So next two shlokas tell about the great personalities picked up from Puranas. Can anyone else read it now?
Sir, should I read, sir?
Yeah, go ahead, Sachit.
श्रीरामो परितः कृष्णो भीष्मो धर्मस्तथार्जुनः मार्कण्डेयो हरिश्चन्द्र प्रह्लादो नारदो ध्रुवः.
श्रीरामो भरतः कृष्णो भीष्मो धर्मस्तथार्जुनः मार्कण्डेयो हरिश्चन्द्र प्रह्लादो नारदो ध्रुवः.
Okay, the next shloka is also from Puranas.
Sir, can I read?
Yeah, go ahead, Fish.
Yeah. हनुमाने जनके व्यासो वशिष्ठ. Sir, I'm not good in Kannada.
Vasishthascha.
Sir, I'm not that good in Kannada.
Okay, fine. Anyone else can try?
Sir, should I read, sir?
Yeah, if no one else, you can go ahead. Anyone else? Yeah, go ahead.
हनुमान
Okay, sir.
जनकव्यासो वसिष्ठश्च शुको बलिः ददीचि विश्वकर्माणो पृथुवाल्मीकि भार्गवः.
हनुमान् जनको व्यासो वसिष्ठश्च शुको बलिः दधीचि विश्वकर्माणौ पृथुवाल्मीकि भार्गवाः.
So this was our recollection from last two sessions. So now a few of the presentations were left out because of the time constraint. So we'll continue with that. Shraddha, are you ready?
Yes, sir. 1 second.
Yeah, Shraddha will present on Shukadeva Muni.
Is my screen visible?
Yeah.
Good morning. Today I will be presenting on the great personality of Shukadeva Muni. Shukadeva was the son of Maharshi Vedavyas. He was also known as Shukamuni. He was born to a nymph named Rithai who had come to earth in the form of a female parrot. That's why he was named Shukadev. He is known for his storytelling of the folklore. He was a great philosopher and administrator of justice. From childhood itself, he was of a very fine nature. He was not interested in worldly activities. He was always inclined towards spirituality. There is another ancient story about his birth. According to this story, once Shiva was speaking the Vishnu Sahasranam to Parvati to become immortal. At that time, the child Shuk was also listening and hiding. When Shiva came to know, he followed Shuka. That time, Vyasa's wife was yawning, and on getting scared of Shiva, Shukdev left his own body and went inside the stomach of Vyasa's wife. through her mouth. He lived inside for 12 years. During this period, Vyasji told stories of Mahabharata and Puranas, and so he got all that knowledge as well. So he also gave the Bhagavatam to Parikshit, who was a descendant of the Pandavas. So the banyan tree under which he recited this is known as the Akshayavast, which means the undrying tree. The uniqueness of this tree is that it would never shed leaves. So what had happened was Parikshit had become the king, and that time Kali Yuga was trying to find a place to reside. Basically, Kali Yuga is like an embodiment of the things that would happen in this particular period of time. And he insulted a saint, and he was cursed to live only for 7 days hence. And that is when he got the Bhagavatam from Shukadev. Thank you.
Thank you, Shraddha. It was a good presentation, slide-wise and the content-wise. Good. So rest all are completed the presentation. So today we will learn about few more personalities, and then we will continue again from next week with the presentation.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
I'm new to this class, so I don't know really what's happening. My name is Harish Krishna, and I really do not know what's happening. Could you just explain it to me?
Okay, fine. I'll tell you. This is the Kishore Bharati session where the kids from age of 12 to 16, that is who are studying in 8th to 11th standard, are here. Okay, so we teach here mainly our culture and good habits, good character building, and about our nation and such things.
Sir, I was a part of Bal Bharati, sir. I know what Kishore Bharati is. Sir, but you were talking about some shlokas and all of that. So could you just tell me what do the shlokas?
Yeah, I'll just give a brief background about it. So as I said, we teach all those. So especially in summer, where the more time is available for the kids to spend on good things. So every summer we conduct exam on some of the topics, some of the books. So in the last 3 years, the exams are conducted on Mahabharata, Ramayana, and achievements of Bharat. So this year, the book is on the great personalities of Bharat. Okay, so this great personalities of Bharat is the personalities are picked up from. There is a stotra called Ekatmata Stotra. So which lists all, or not all, maybe the main representative from many of the categories. So that is Ekatmata Stotra. Maybe I will put it once again in the group. So I will add you to the group and I will put those. So this Ekatmata Stotra lists out even the mountains, rivers, and even about how the Bharat boundaries and all those things. So this summer we will be learning about the personalities that are mentioned in the Ekatmata Stotra. Okay, and there is a book also compiled based on that. So while learning some of the topics or some of the personalities, we will provide you or we will present to you. And some of the personalities you can prepare and present here. So this is the third session on it. So the kids have already presented for a few of the personalities. So this time I will be providing some of the details about some of the personalities, and next week onwards we'll again continue with your presentations.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Krishna. Okay. So we'll proceed with the first personality from my side is Markandeya. I'm presenting my screen. Rishi Markandeya. So a little bit about the Markandeya, so which is as per our the book which is there for picked up for the exams. So Markandeya was son of Rishi Mrikandu and his wife Marudhavati. So they were childless. So they prayed to Lord Shiva and did an yajna to get the child. So with as Lord Shiva pleased with their yajna and penance, so Lord Shiva appeared before them and asked him, "So what do you want?" So Rishi Mrikandu asked, "I am childless. Please grant me a son." So the Lord says, there is a two choice for you. One is a good son who will live a short-lived, and he will be very wise, virtuous, and very sacred things he will be doing. So who will live only short-lived, maybe around only 16 years. So the other option is to get a long-living son who will be an evil-minded, so who will be causing negative things to the nature and around you. So Rishi Mrikandu being a rishi, so he had without a second thought or hesitation, he asked for a good child who will live, even though he lives for a shorter period of 16 years. So he wanted a good son. So with that, she was born. The Markandeya born. So because he is son of a Mrikandu Rishi, he was referred or called as Markandeya. So till the age of 16, okay, so the being parents, they didn't inform Markandeya about his short life. So the Markandeya was not aware. So within that 16 years only, he has mastered many of the knowledge, dharmic knowledges. So, but ultimately, when that 16th year completion reached or nearer, the parents couldn't control. They couldn't hold on for more. So they told Markandeya that because of this, you will be living only till the age of 16 years. So then Markandeya decided anyway he has lesser days to live. So he wanted to do a long penance to please Lord Shiva and get a longer life. So then one day when he started praying to the Lord Shiva, and he was completely lost into that prayer. So he was not aware of what's happening around him. So because Yama being he keeps track of all the life in the world. So he was aware that this is the last day. The last day has arrived. That 16th day completion has arrived. And Yama knew that this is the last day for Markandeya. So he came to pick his life or take his soul from here. So as usual, Yama doesn't directly come. It is his dutas, who are called Yamadutas, first arrive, because to perform that large task, Yamadutas will come most of the times, unless there is a special people. Okay, so this time also Yamadutas came and tried to take Markandeya from here, but they couldn't because of his power of his meditation, as power of his praying to the God, and power of his Lord Shiva's blessings. So the Yamadutas couldn't take his soul. So they go back and tell Yama about this. So then Yama himself has to come on his buffalo. So he has generally, as we see, he throws his rope around whomever he has to pick. So similar way, he throwed his rope to get Markandeya's soul. So as Markandeya was with the Shivling, he was nearer to that and he was catching it. So that rope, the loop of rope, along with Markandeya, caught hold of Shivlinga also. So then this is the time the Lord Shiva appeared himself to protect Markandeya. Son, as he is such a devotee of Lord Shiva, with the enrage, Lord Shiva killed Yama to protect Markandeya. So he killed Yama himself. So without Yama, how can the world be? Because every soul has to have an end in this world. So then this way the Markandeya was saved, and Shiva gave him a boon to live immortal, be an immortal person. So he became an immortal. So, but without Yama, how the world can be there? So then all other devas prayed to Lord Shiva and bring back Yama so that there is a order in the world. So with the other gods' request, Lord Shiva gave life back to Yama. This is how the Yama came back to life again. So with this event, there are two names associated with Markandeya. One is called Mrityunjaya because he won over death, that is Mrityu. So he won with the Jaya on the Mrityu, that is he won over death. So he was called as Mrityunjaya. Other name is Kala Kala. So any guess, anyone here can guess why he is called Kala Kala?
Sir, because he will live on forever.
Sorry, can you repeat?
Sir, because Mrityunjaya got the boon from Shiva that he was immortal, so they call him Kala Kala.
No, that is the reason he is called Mrityunjaya. That is. So Kala Kala, so one of the there are many meanings to Kala. So one of the meanings, like we see Bhuta Kala, Bhavishyat Kala, kind of thing. So where it is related to the time. So the another Kala, the meaning of Kala, another meaning is the end. The call has arrived. You would have heard it. So it is the end of someone.
Sir, even Kalantaka is known as Kalantaka for this reason, sir.
Correct. Kalantaka or Kala Kala, which we can say the both. So when there is a Kala, there is an end of someone, Yama is coming to take them. So in a way, Yama is called Kala. So the Yama is Kala, and Kala means end. Because of Markandeya, the Yama's life has ended. So he is the reason for ending of Kala, that is ending of Yama. So he is end of Yama, so end of Kala, so he is called as Kala Kala. So the Kala Kala, there are two different words, but one Kala means Yama, the another Kala means the end. So that is why he is called as Kala Kala. Okay, so after the Yama is back into life, so the Markandeya lived for immortal, lived forever, and still believed to be living in this world. So that is how the Markandeya is known to us. Any queries? Any of you have doubts on it?
Sir, I have a small doubt, sir. If Markandeya was still alive, why didn't he come to the cities and show himself and try to correct people, sir, and if they are doing something wrong?
Yeah, so that is the eternal question. So you would have heard many Puranas or many stories, even including Mahabharata. So where the correction, if the God corrects everything, so what will the human beings do? Okay, so there is a way to attain that mukti or the end with their own perseverance, with their own penance. So there has to be a planned approach, has to be a inner soul coming inside the human beings to take things to the proper way or the right end. So that is the reason, even if you see the Shishupala Vadha, so where Krishna killed Shishupala, so you would have heard that. So till 100 mistakes done by the Shishupala, Krishna didn't do any harm to him. He didn't kill him or do any harm to him. So when that 100th 101st mistake he has done, or the ill thing he has done, or he told the wrong thing about Krishna, he killed him. So that is the reason for everything. The God doesn't come immediately and clear it. It is the responsibility of we as a human being or any other soul to correct not only ourselves, correct others also. So this is maybe you can see it can be considered as a time given for people to correct themselves and correct others. So when the limit reaches, surely we would have seen so many yugas. So we'll see the yuga Kali Yuga also, which is around 4 lakh plus years. So maybe that is the time given for us to correct ourselves and correct others also. So maybe that is the time that we have. Maybe at that point in time, something, if it has reached that point, the God will come and restore everything. Yeah, fine.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Is it fine? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we all know Markandeya as one of the Chiranjeevis. Chiranjeevi means Jeevi, Chira means never ending. It's always there. Like Jeevi is who is a living being. So Chiranjeevi is the one who lives forever. So with that, we'll move to the next personality, that is Vedavyasa. So you all know in previous sessions or previous exam also, in the Achievements of Bharat also his name was there. So Vedavyasa was more famous or more easily known to the people because of he is known as the author of Mahabharata, which is the most famous epic that we know, one of them. So he is Vedavyasa because of some activity he has done. Okay, he is originally known as Dvaipayana. Any guess why he is named as Dvaipayana? So Dvaipayana has a
Because it's
word
born
within
on island.
Exactly. So he is born in an island, which is Dvipa. Dvipa means island. So he is born in a Dvipa. So that is why he is called Dvaipayana. So he is not born on an island which is formed by ocean or sea. He is born in an island formed by river Yamuna. So there are islands even formed by rivers also. So like that, if you are aware of this river Kaveri, the river Kaveri forms 3 islands from its birth in Talakaveri till it reaches the sea. So one of the island formed by river Kaveri is near to us. Anyone knows? You don't feel it as an island, but it is really an island.
No, sir.
Okay, anyone have a guess? Okay, so you all would have known or gone to Srirangapatna, right? Anyone who doesn't know Srirangapatna? I take it as
Sir,
Srirangapatna is. Yeah, Rupesh.
sir, I went.
Yeah, good. So if you would have observed, okay, Srirangapatna is an island. The river Kaveri splits before the Srirangapatna and joins back after the Srirangapatna is over. Srirangapatna is also an island. So like that, one of the island formed by Yamuna, where Dvaipayana was born, and that is why he is named as Dvaipayana. He is not just referred as Dvaipayana, he is referred as Krishna Dvaipayana. Any guess on why he is called Krishna Dvaipayana? Dvaipayana we came to know. Why?
Because when he was born with dark skinned, sir.
Yes, correct, Sachin. So he was, Krishna refers to a dark. So that is why, like even we have two half months which are called pakshas. Okay, so one paksha is called Shukla Paksha and the another is called Krishna Paksha. So which is a darker fortnight. So similar to this, the Krishna is referred to as a darker side. So he was dark in color, so he was called as Krishna Dvaipayana. So he was as famously known as Veda Vyasa because he divided Vedas into four. Originally the Vedas were one, single. Okay, so but for a human being or for a normal being, it is difficult to understand whole Veda in a single manner, in a single way. It is difficult for them. So that is why it is divided into four parts: Rig Veda, Sama Veda, Ajur Veda, and Atharva Veda, each mainly focusing on some part of it. So that is as he has divided. Vyasa means division, divided. So if if you learn or if you know the meaning of division, even in arithmetic and maths, Vyasa is called the diameter, which is dividing. Vyasa is, if you convert into translate into English, it is diameter, which divides a circle. So it's just a division. So that is divided the Vedas into four is called as Veda Vyasa. So as you all know, he is the author of Mahabharata, which was told by and written by Ganesha. So when Ganesha was writing, or when Vyasa appeared or approached Ganesha for writing Mahabharata, Ganesha put a condition. Anyone knows what is the condition?
So may I tell?
Yeah, go
Sir,
ahead.
So that if Veda Vyasa wouldn't stop telling the Mahabharata and Ganesha should not stop writing at any point. If he did, he should leave and he should leave.
Yes, so that is the condition that Ganesha put. So I should be continuously writing. If you stop in between, if you take a gap, I will end that writing at that point in time. I will not continue. So to counter that, to make Ganesha to write it,
Veda Vyasa
yes,
gave tougher meaning the verses. Like he only gave like lines which were very tough to understand, sir. So like Ganesha used to stop for understanding what he wrote before writing. Like Veda Vyasa said, you should understand every line you write.
Correct. So that is the counter condition. You have to write only after understanding that sloka, so that he gets Veda Vyasa gets a time in between to think and tell the next sloka. So that is how the Mahabharata was completed without any gap, considering the Ganesha understands each and every shloka that is told by Vyasa. Okay, so apart from Mahabharata, Upanishads and 18 Puranas were also written by Ganesha along with the Mahabharata. The Guru Purnima is celebrated in commemoration of Vyasa's birthday. So anyone knows when is the Guru Purnima falls? Okay, you can just check over it. So it is the birthday of Guru Vyasa. Okay. So as he is considered the Adi Guru, so he is considered to be the Guru of all major rishis. So he is considered as a Guru for all. So Veda Vyasa, like, yes,
Ma'am, so it's on July.
Yeah, correct. Okay, it's rather than a date, you can just check on the tithi. So the date can change.
Sir, it is
every year.
24th July. Sir, it is 24th July.
Okay, yeah, correct. Okay, so like Markandeya, we said Veda Vyasa is also one of the Chiranjeevis. Okay, so Veda Vyasa is also considered as it is not a reincarnation, it is an expansion or extension of Bhagavan Vishnu himself. So he is considered the expansion of Vishnu, so who came in Dwapara Yuga to spread the Vedic knowledge. Till then, the Vedic knowledge was transferred from generations to generation by mouth or oral tradition only. But by writing the Vedas in a book or in a compilation, so it became universal, and it was easier for people to pick up, or the next generations to pick up. So when Vedavyasa wanted to become a sage, he wanted to become an ascetic life, a real ascetic life. His mother, who was his mother? Anyone knows? You know the character in Mahabharata. Anyone take a guess? She was a fisherwoman.
Sir, she was. I remember.
Vedavyas's mother was.
Sir, like she only asked her son to come and help her, her daughter-in-law to get a child, no, sir. Like how Vidura and
Yes.
how Vidura not to be born, no, sir. She only asked, like how Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and Vidura were born, because she asked her son.
Correct. So Satyavati was Vedavyasa's mother. Okay, so before he took that ascetic life, before he took a sannyasa, so she put a condition. So whenever I ask, you have to come. So Vedavyasa agrees. So whenever Satyavati needs any help or needs any the knowledge required, the Vedavyasa used to appear. So even before the Mahabharata starts also, whenever Satyavati said, this is what is happening, so what should I do? So then Vedavyasa comes and takes her to the forest with him. So that's why you would have seen nowhere Satyavati in the whole Mahabharata war. So he's learnt from Rishi Vasudeva. Is not different from what you see about Krishna Vasudeva. Is a different Rishi Vasudeva. From him, he learned he became a Rishi, and after learned his knowledge in scripture from Rishis Sanaka and Sanandana, who are Brahma's sons. And he wrote a Brahma Sutra for the quick understanding of Shrutis. There are two things called Shruti and Smriti. Shruti is what is told, and Smriti is what is remembered. You can check more details. So Shruti is what is told by God, and Smriti is what is understood by the rishis or any other beings, and then that Smriti is converted or told to someone else. So that is how the differentiation of Shruti and Smriti. And the Vedavyasa wrote Shrutis, it wrote Brahma Sutras to spread the knowledge of Shrutis. So Vedavyasa also wrote Upakhyanas to understand the Puranas. So that is Puranas and Upakhyanas, where the teachings in the form of the Upakhyanas, he told all those Puranas. And there are three ways of devotions, to attain the moksha. So those three ways are also told by Vedavyasa. One is karma, upasana, and jnana. So do whatever you do in a sincere way, then that is a karma. So through that also someone can attain the moksha. And the upasana, that is devotion. You can completely devote yourself to God, and that is another way of getting moksha. And the third one is the jnana, understand the complete knowledge, the Brahma jnana. So if you understand also the real Brahma jnana, also you will get the moksha. So these are the three ways which are told by Vedavyasa. And the last book he has written, or the work done by Vedavyasa, is Bhagavata. So he has written Bhagavata on telling by Devarshi Narada. The Narada told, if you don't do it, your coming to the world will be incomplete. So with the writing of Bharata, So the Veda Vyasa, that was the last writing by Veda Vyasa, and after that he went into we can say Himalaya. After that, no one has seen. So we have seen two Chiranjeevis today. One is Veda Vyasa and another is Markandeya. Okay. So anyone have any query on Veda Vyasa?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay, so we'll move to the next personality for this day. That will go to Sita. Okay, so we all know Sita as Janaki. Okay, because she was daughter of Janaka. She was referred as Janaki. So we famously know as Sita. Sita, because Sita is also came her name because she was found in a land, in a agricultural land between two crops, which is called as Sita. That is furrow. I'll just show you the picture. Okay, so if you see between the two lines of crops, there is a gap, so which is called as Sita. So that is why she was named as Sita. She was daughter of King Janaka and Sunaina. Sunaina was the queen of Janaka. She was the daughter of Janaka and Sunaina. So as she is found in the earth, she is
daughter of Bhudevi.
Yes, that is because she was found in the land. She was maybe daughter of Bhudevi because of that, and because Janaka and Sunaina brought her up, she is daughter of Janaka and Sunaina. So that way you can consider both. So when she was born, she was referred, or she was having a golden skin, and eyes are doe-eyed. That means she was so innocent. So she was referred like golden skinned and doe-eyed girl. So as she was born or she was found from the land, she was always connected to the nature, it's Mother Earth or the natural elements that we see. So in Ramayana, we see when she was going with Rama for the 14 years of exile. When she was crossing river Ganga, she prays to the goddess Ganga and asks for a good life even in forest, or not much hardships in forest life. So that is how she connects herself to the nature. Okay. So when the other event happens, when the Ravana abducts her and was taking her to the Lanka, she prays or she asks help from the five elements. She asks for the trees, the akasha also, and even the animals we are all there. She asks help from everyone who are belong to the nature especially. And with that, with her help, crying help, vulture or
Jatayu.
what Jatayu, yeah, the Jatayu comes for her help, okay, and fights with Ravana to free her, but ultimately gets killed by Ravana. And moreover, when she was in Lanka, in the Ashokavana, she used to talk to the plants there, and she used to console herself with that by interacting with those plants. So that is how she gets connected to the nature. And she was so magnanimous that the Rakshasis or the elements or Rakshasis who were torturing her in that Ashokavana, she used to forgive them by saying they're just following the orders from Ravana. And she was so much connected, or she was so magnanimous in her life. And when the war with Ravana was over, when she was getting taken back, going back to Ayodhya, she invited all the wives of monkeys, all the Vanarasina's wives. She invited them to Ayodhya for the celebration that is going to happen in Ayodhya. And she was very much known for being an ideal woman and loyalty to her husband. She is incarnation of goddess Lakshmi, as Rama is the incarnation of Vishnu. Sita is incarnation of Lakshmi. So that is how Rama and Sita are Vishnu and Lakshmi. So these are all lesser known details about Sita. There are many other things which, being Ramayana, reading or seeing Ramayana, many of would know. Okay. So with that, we will go to the next personality for the day, that is Rishi Vasishta. So you all know that the Kulguru of Raghukula, that is Rama's Kula, was Rishi Vasishta. He used to do all the rituals in the Raghukula. He is one of the Sapta Rishis. So last time it was told, when Dhruva topic was covered or Arundhati topic was covered, okay, so the Sapta Rishi Mandala was shown to you, I think, by Shrishti. Okay, so she told what is that Saptarishi Mandala and how it looks and where you can spot that Saptarishi Mandala. So those Saptarishis or these that stars are these Saptarishis. So one of them is Rishi Vasishta. Anyone knows who was wife of Vasishta except Srishti, because she has taken the topic?
Sir, is it Arundhati?
Yes, correct. Arundhati was wife of Srishti. Sorry, say wife of Vasishta. Okay. So even Srishti told, when in one of our traditions, we show Arundhati nakshatra along with Vasishta during the marriage to show their belongingness togetherness. So that is how the Vasishta and Arundhati are regarded as, what do you say, ideal couple. So that is why we show during the marriage ritual.
Sir, but after the marriage, when they show, but it will not be visible, no, sir. Sir, then why do they show?
So because it is, most of the times it is in the day. In the day, it will not be feasible to look at, see that star. So it is shown in the direction where it is supposed to be in that, because the stars change their position throughout the year. So whenever that marriage is happening, it may be in a different location. So that location is shown so that they can see whenever it is feasible, maybe in the night time or in the clear sky. That is the reason. It is to remind them that there is the specific ideal couple were there, and you should be like that. Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
So Vasishta is considered to be the chief author of Mandala 7. There are many mandalas in each Vedas. So in Rig Veda, Mandala 7 is authored by Vasishta. He is very much influential among the Saptarishis, and is considered to be the first Rishi of the Vedanta school, as referred by Adi Shankara. Vasishta Samhita is like we know Patanjali Yoga. there is a Vasishtha Samhita which is also about the yoga, which is called Vasishtha Samhita. And with the same title, there is an Agama also, which is also used in many of the rituals. There is a Vasishtha Dharma Sutra, which is used which is referred for giving any dharma related treatise, and which is still there, that the text is still available. And the Agni Purana, there are many Puranas like Vishnu Purana, Shiva Purana, and there is one Purana called Agni Purana, which is attributed to Vasishtha. So the Vishnu Purana is again attributed to Vasishtha along with Rishi Pulatsya. So both together are referred for this Vishnu Purana. And many Vedic rituals are contributed by Rishi Vasishtha. So you would have known about the cows, Kamadhenu and her cub. Know who is the cub of Kamadhenu? The divine cow is Kamadhenu, and the cub of Kamadhenu is Nandini. So both were in his ashram. So with that, he was able to take care of his ashram as well as who is going to visit that ashram. So he was in possession of Kamadhenu and Nandini. So the fight or the war kind of a thing between Vasishtha and Vishwamitra, at that point in time, Vishwamitra was not Vishwamitra, he was the king. He was a Kshatriya king, and Kaushika was his name. So he was Raja Kaushika. So there is a war or a fight happens between Vasishtha and Kaushika for the Kamadhenu. So in which Kaushika loses, and after that he feels that the Kshatriya Jnana is nothing in compared to the Brahma Jnana which Vasishtha happens. So then in search of the Brahma Jnana, he becomes a saint, and then he becomes called as referred as Vishwamitra, Rishi Vishwamitra. So that is the story of Kaushika becoming Rishi Vishwamitra because of Vasishtha. So as I told earlier, he is the family priest or Kula Guru of Raghu dynasty, who is in the descendancy of whom the Lord Rama appears. And when Lord Rama was making the Ashwamedha Yaga, so he was the priest for that. Any doubts, any queries on Rishi Vasishtha?
Sir, Kamadhenu was with Indra though, right?
Indra, from that it was given to Vasishtha. So it was there in Vasishtha's ashrama. So when Indra gets it, when Samudra Manthana happens, and from there it comes to Vasishtha. Okay. Okay. So we are nearing to our time. We'll go to a quick few shlokas which are related to today's topic. I'll just show them. If anyone is clear, first time you are hearing it. So if anyone knows about these shlokas, can read it. Yeah, so I'm showing some shlokas. Can anyone who knows already or a little bit heard of it can read it? It is related to the Chiranjeevis.
Sir, can I read it, sir? I'll read it, sir.
Yes, Sachit, go ahead.
Ashwathama balir vayaso hanumanascha vibhishanah kripah parashuramascha saptaite chira jivanah saptaitan samsamarennityam markandeya matashtamam jivedavarshatam sopi सर्वव्याधि विवर्जितः.
Very good. Yeah. So the first part of the first sloka refers about 7 Chiranjeevis. So if you can count them, there are 7 Chiranjeevis. This is the most famous part of this sloka. So where we name like Pratha shlokas which we saw earlier, Karagre Vasate. So this is also one of the Pratha shlokas. So where you can recite every day to know about the Chiranjeevis. So if you count, it is Ashwathama, Bali, Vyasa, Hanuma, Vibhishana, Krupa, Parashurama. So these are the 7 Chiranjeevis which are listed in first sloka. So the last sloka will tell about the 8th Chiranjeevi, that is Markandeya, and by remembering these Chiranjeevis, Sarva Vyadhi Vivarjitaha, the last one says, by remembering them, no, how do you say, the Vyadhi, the Rogas or the diseases will come. That is the, this is the 8 Chiranjeevis that we should know. Okay. So, yes. Okay. With this, we will end today's shloka, today's topic on personalities, that part of our exam. So in the next session, we will cover a few more shlokas for the great personalities. So I'll just tell about those shlokas, and then I will give you the list of personalities from those shlokas. So each one can pick up one personality from there and prepare for them. And whoever okay with any of the personality for them, I will assign after everyone has picked up. It is better that everyone picks up so that your favorite topic. The favorite personality can be 2 ways. One is you already know much about him and you want others and you can explain better. So you can pick up in that way. So the other favorite can be you don't know, but you are more curious to know about it, about that personality. So then also you choose such a personality. So in both the ways, it will be helpful for spreading the knowledge that you have and gaining the knowledge that you want. So that in both the way, you can pick up the personalities of your choice. Okay. So the next shlokas, I will just, okay. So this is the shloka, the first shloka for the next week.
भगीरथश्चैकलव्यो मनुर्धन्वन्तरिस्तथा शिबिश्चरन्ति देवश्च पुराणोद्गीतकीर्तयः बुद्धाजिनेन्द्रा गोरक्षः पाणिनिश्च पतञ्जलिः शङ्करो मध्वनिम्बार्कौ श्रीरामानुजवल्लभौ झूले लालोथ चैतन्यस्तिरुवल्लुवरस्तथा नायन्मारालवाराश्च कम्बश्च बसवेश्वरः.
Okay. So these are the 3 shlokas from which we will take the next session on. So I will post this list of personalities from these shlokas and then we can pick up by today so that you can have time to prepare. Okay, so after the Shanti mantra, if any of the parents are there, we will have interaction with them. So please ask them to be available. Yeah, so Shanti mantra will be told by Sachit. Sampada. Sampada, can you tell the Shanti mantra? After that, we will interact with parents. Dhanyavad. Any of the parents available?
Yes,
Namaste ji.
my dad is here.
Yeah, namaste. Yeah, namaste ji. So we wanted your inputs on how your daughter, your kid have learned from this Kishore Bharati. I want your help in spreading that Kishore Bharati word to your either to your kids' classmates or to your relatives and friends who are in Bangalore. And the second point is we want your involvement if to to add more value to it and more content to it. So based on your timing and based on your interest, you can tell us so that whenever we want to take up such a related to topic, we can involve you also in that. Yes, Ji, you can please share your views and thoughts, Ji. Sampada's mother. Sorry, Ji, can you tell? Yes, Ji. Your name, Ji? Sorry, sorry. Please tell your views, Ji, and so that the others are benefited from it. Okay, good. Yeah, yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Before I tell you, Suesh's father is there. So, G, your good name, G? Hello? Suesh, your father is there?
Yeah. I'm Dr. Amit Jain.
Yeah, namaste, Ji.
Namaskar.
Yes, Suresh has associated almost a few months with the Kishore Bharati, so he is very much contributing to it. So you just tell us few words about your VFG.
Actually, I got to know Rajkumar ji, who was
Yes,
involved
yes,
for the Kishore Bharati. So he was
yes,
mentioning me about Kishore Bharati. So I always wanted my son to also have some uh, activity related with where the Indian cultures related knowledge is also being discussed and given to the kids. So he mentioned me about Kishore Bharati. That's why I suggested Suyash to get involved in this.
oh, thanks.
And I'm happy that he is learning many new things and he likes also. So he is actively participating.
Yes, yes.
One thing I could say that if more activities will be done in this, perhaps the word regarding this will be spread by the kids themselves in their friend circle, and definitely if there is a change in their Vyaktitva, definitely it will encourage many others also to join Kishore Bharati.
Oh, okay, धन्यवाद जी. Yeah. So as I say, any other parent is there? Rupesh, your father is there?
Yes, sir. I'll call him.
Okay. Yeah. So while Srinivasji joins, I'll just add Avekta, your father is there?
Sir, my father came.
Okay. Yeah, Srinivasji.
Hello, Namaste ji.
Namaste ji. So we are interacting with parents here. Two parents are here.
Okay.
We wanted to hear from you and we wanted to spread the Kishore Bharati to other kids who are not part of it. So Rupesh has joined 2 weeks back. So if you could help us to spread it and get involved in Kishore Bharati so that in the future when it becomes or changes from online to offline, we'll need parents' help to take it to the each near your locations.
Definitely, and I really appreciate the efforts going on this platform actually, and then the definitely it is creating the better base to the kids, with more insights actually into our whether it is a geography or whether it is history, and then our a very culture. It is creating the great and strong roots actually. So I really appreciate the efforts, and it is very much required. Yes, I will definitely participate in this to spread the word of mouth, as well as maybe we can organize similar things in physically when the things time permits after this COVID epidemic resides. Okay, subside. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
So we can do that.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Savita ji, you were asking about how to, what contribution can come from your side, ji. So, yeah. So, we have other parents who are, now that we have started in the summer holiday, a specific exam focused on great personalities. So, after this, every month we get even during this also, we are getting every month magazine in which we have topics ranging from Bhagavad Gita to character building, positive things to our culture and our history and many things. So you can take up whichever is your interest in that. You can take up one session of say 15 to 20 minutes on that. That would be helpful to gather more people. So the more perspectives that come in, it will be more catchy for the kids to continue. Oh, धन्यवाद जी, धन्यवाद जी. And especially because of this being online, so we are able to, or multiple kids, we are coming at one place on an online platform and taking the session. So actually we thought that the corona is gone, and by February or March we thought it is already gone, and actually we will have to start the physical or offline Kishore Bharti sessions. That is the ultimate aim, but because of this we are not able to do that. So once we maybe hopefully in another 1 or 2 months, if it subsides and the people were able to meet physically, then we'll have to identify one location near to it. May not be, today we had around 16 kids, so it will not be feasible for all 16 kids to come at one place, because they are geographically in a different locations, or not feasible to move to a single location. We have to identify maybe within 1 or 2 kilometers of your area. So whoever in that area, the kids in that area can join in that, whatever the convenient. It may not be on Sunday in the specific time. Any convenient time for all of the kids in that area, they can come once in a week for 1 hour, or feasible if more. The parents in that case will need your help to organize in that location the sessions, and the inputs or the knowledge spreading for the kids will be required. Especially who are in apartments, it will be easier because the more kids can come, and the facility will be available. And in case if it is individual houses, and maybe we can on a rotation basis in one of the houses, or if there is any club nearby, or any gathering, any like Kalyan Mandaps or anything of that sort, if available in that area, we can organize in that area. So in that case, we'll need more volunteers and more parents to get involved, so that each session or each whatever wherever we are gathering, that can be run easily. Is that clear, Savitaji? Okay. Yeah, Amitji, for you also in that area, we will need help. Okay, so you whatever the topic that is in of your interest, you can start involving yourself, so that when it opens up and it becomes physical, so we'll work out an area how to manage, and maybe a few weeks we'll plan together, and then parents, if there are more parents available, gets involved, then it can be independently handled by the parents. Yeah. Any queries from UG, Amit ji, Savita ji, Srinivas ji? Yeah. If no queries, we can disconnect. Dhanyawad.
It kind of reminds me of the Philippines and like just the things that I grew up around. I know that's so dramatic, but like this dining room just reminds me so much of like moving to America and being